Chelsea asked him, do you want to settle down? And his response was, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you? Why are you answering a question with a question? Like, hey y'all, it's Editing Nay. So I found out some tea on Kwame right after I recorded this video. It turns out that he was on season 10, episode 18 of Married at First Sight. Now this could either mean that he actually is really looking for someone to marry, or this could mean that he likes to go on reality TV shows. I'm gonna let y'all decide, but I'm gonna input the TikTok video next and you let me know what you think in the comments.
Married at First Sight puts a modern take on arranged marriage.
Hey y'all, it's Nay. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind season 4 episodes 1 through 8, so if you don't want spoilers, you should leave right now. If you missed my first video on episodes 1 through 5, you can watch it right here at the top right of your screen. And remember that I'll be uploading these commentary videos every Monday through the reunion, so subscribe. Timestamps are in the description box if you want to skip through, and let's get into it. Zack and Bliss, they did end up getting together, did end up getting engaged. I have some thoughts about it, but first thing I want to say is that I'm really happy that Bliss stood up for herself. When they were first sitting down at that lunch, she was like, Zack, how was your vacation with your fiance? And he was like, okay, like I deserve that. So I'm proud of her for sticking up for herself, because she could have literally been falling all over him, like so happy that he's back, and she didn't do that. She stood her ground. And as I was watching it, I could tell that they really liked each other, and Zack genuinely looks happier when he is with her versus how he looked when he was with Irina. Like, he just looks like he's in a better place. He's nerdy, she's a little nerdy, but she's also really attractive, and I think they mesh well together. I do worry that Bliss is not going to be able to move on from the fact that he chose Irina first. I mean, even after the engagement, she was kind of bringing it up. And I'm not saying whether she should or should not get past that, but it does seem like it's going to be kind of laying the groundwork for all of the problems in the relationship, because she's constantly going to feel like she's coming as second choice to him, regardless of if it's another woman or like family or whatever. I think she's always going to struggle with the fact that she feels like she's the second choice. So that's going to be something they have to work through, and I really hope they do, because it turns out that I like them together. Bougie, Britt, and Tiffany, still not too much on them, and I think that's because they have like a really good chemistry. I just think out of all the couples, they are the ones that I'm like, they're solid. Like, there's no problems there. And of course, relationships have problems, but you know, they're still very much in the honeymoon stage right now, and the fact that they're not arguing a bunch is really telling. Their biggest issue right now seems to be water left on the bathroom floor after you get out of the shower, and if that's it, then they're gonna be just fine. Okay, so this next thing has nothing to do with Chelsea and Kwame as a couple, but why does Chelsea not flush the toilet at night? Like, girl, I was rooting for you. She was giving white girl energy at first, and then I was like, okay, I like them together, and now she right back to giving white girl energy, because why aren't you flushing the toilet? Chelsea, babe, please flush the damn toilet. Can we seriously just talk about the fact that when they were describing Chelsea's dad, I was expecting like this hardcore like racist to come out, because she was like, I don't know if my dad's gonna accept you, like he's really not into this. And then Mr. Rogers walked out instead.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
And I was like, that's your dad? Like, that's who you were worried about? We're good. we're totally fine. And it ends up that Kwame's mom is actually going to be the one that's going to be the issue here. So I don't know Kwame's background. I don't think we've discussed where his roots are, but we know that he's African. And I think his mom is just having a really hard time dealing with the fact that maybe that the woman that he chose is not African. The way that he chose to do it going on this show, it's not traditional. And to be honest, his mom might actually be the one that's struggling with the fact that she's white. We don't know. Guys, sorry, my rabbit's being super cute. I gotta show you. Oh, he's such a cute guy. Yeah, it turns out that his mom might actually be the one that's kind of having a problem with this. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. So here's something really interesting about Love is Blind. I thought that specifically when it comes to Love is Blind, that people were from the same city. Those of us that watch Love is Blind are also probably Married at First Sight, 90 Day Fiance people. I know that Married at First Sight, they tend to be from all over the place, and they'll have to like figure out which state they're going to move to. But I did not know that that was the thing with Love is Blind. I thought that they got them all from the same city. So when I'm starting to hear couples this season, because to my knowledge, this is the first time I ever heard it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the other seasons, but the first time I'm hearing couples talk about, well, like, I live here, we're going to have to do this, and like things like that. So Kwame doesn't sound like he's willing to move. He's very comfortable in his space, which I get, right? We all love our space. but he sounded like he's gonna give Chelsea a really, really hard time on it. And one of the reasons that I say this specifically is because when they were talking, they were kind of having a disagreement about who's gonna move whose stuff, you know, what are we gonna do? Chelsea asked him, do you want to settle down? And his response was, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you? Why are you answering a question with a question? Like, I'm asking you, are you ready to settle down? And you're saying, why wouldn't I? Instead of saying, of course, babe, I'm ready to settle down. You know what I mean? Like, his answer was giving, he didn't want to answer. Jackie and Marshall. Okay, so I don't know if I had super high hopes for them. They weren't the highest on my list, but they also were not the lowest on my list. And now I'm kind of feeling like they're not going to last at all. And I'm going to be straight up, most of that is on Jackie. Jackie keeps hinting at this turbulent relationship that she has with her family. I really hope that they can work through that, but it seems to be the source of a lot of anxiety for her. And I get anxiety, trust me. I don't think that Jackie is going to be able to accept the fact that Marshall is good. And like, you probably know what I mean, but I'm going to explain anyway. I think he's too good for her. And not in a way like he's better than her, but I think he is like actually too good of a person for her in this moment that she's in her life right now. Because I don't think that she thinks that she deserves a man as good as Marshall, and that's a huge problem. Marshall actually said it best. He said she's looking for toxic love, and I agree with him. Now, what I don't agree with, like, I think he said it in the terms of, well, she wants someone to like be aggressive in the bedroom or like slap her around a little, which whatever, like, that's, everybody has kinks, and I don't kink shame, trust me. But I think she wants toxic love in the sense that she doesn't feel like she can function without having a little bit of turbulence, because it seems that her life has turbulence, and that's trauma that she needs to work through, but I don't think she's ready to work through it. I think she needs that type of turbulence to feel safe in a relationship, and Marshall just isn't going to give her that. He's too good of a guy. She told him to boss up, and I feel like she wants someone who's a thug, or at least someone who has bad boy energy. And I think that's why she's drawn to Josh. When Marshall and Jackie were arguing, I do think that Marshall fucked up by saying she was a project, but I know what he meant. I don't think he meant project in the sense like it's just a game. That I know that's how she took it. So, and I completely understand why she took it that way, because of course, looking from the outside in, you tend to have a better idea of both sides. So I know that that's how she took it, but I know that's not how he meant it. I think he meant it in more of a, you are worth putting the time and you are worth investing in, so I'm gonna do it. A project in the sense that we'll get through it versus a project in the sense that I'm just gonna try it and then we'll see what happens. So I think there was a little bit, and he did apologize immediately for saying that. I don't think she was ready to accept that apology. Now, I'm not the biggest on geography, but isn't Seattle a little far from Arizona? For Micha to be talking about they're gonna be going back and forth. Well, she said she goes back and forth, but I don't think Paul wants to do it. Even aside from Micha and Paul, let's talk about Micah's friends. Shelby in particular. She's just kind of mean. And in my head, I was like, well, is she playing for the cameras? Like, maybe this is her first time on reality TV. Maybe she wants to seem like, you know, this hardcore girl. Or is she really just that bitchy? I hope that it's the former. And I didn't like how Micha was saying, well, you should care how she feels. Like, yes, to a certain extent, you should want your significant others, friends, to accept you. But if they're just not gonna, like, Shelby walked in ready to not accept him. So if she's just gonna be like that from the beginning, why should he be fighting so hard for her approval? Shelby was a little bit in her feels, and their other friend was joking around with her saying that she was a hater, and I agree, she is kind of a hater. She's shutting him down and saying Paul isn't gonna be able to give Micha the life that she deserves, but she met him less than 10 minutes ago. So how does she know what he can give her? That man might be able to give her the white picket fence, the house, the kids, and everything else the vacations, everything else she wants. But you're getting ready to shut all that down because you didn't like looking at him. Like, I don't know what her deal was. She never really fully said what it was. She just kept saying, this isn't for you, this isn't for you. And you gotta give me a reason or I'm gonna just discard everything you said. So I hope Micha thinks on her own and doesn't take too much into consideration on what her friend Shelby was saying. But yeah, girl was giving hater for sure. Like, girl, BFFR. Okay, so let's talk about the little meetup that they had for Chelsea's birthday. We're gonna address the elephant in the room first. Jackie and Marshall did not show up together. It was no surprise to us, the audience watching it, because we got to see it happen, you know, as it happened. But of course, to everyone who was there, their friends, they were like, why aren't y'all coming together? And you could tell that Jackie was still a little aggy with him because He was trying to offer her a coat and she was like, it's gonna ruin my outfit. And it's like, babe, like he's trying to be cute. Like let that man, take that man jacket. And that's what I'm saying. Like I don't feel like she's ready to have a love that is that sweet. I feel like she hasn't had that and she doesn't know how to accept it. He was being really sweet and she was just like, bitch, don't kill my vibe. I think she actually said, you're killing my vibe. We already knew that Josh was gonna be there from the preview that they put in episode 5. I do not like the way that Josh was speaking to Marshall. He was trying to like punk him and be like, I think he actually might have called him a bitch. Like, Marshall looks sweet, but you don't know what that man can do when you really make him mad. He was keeping his composure. He could have done anything and then Josh would have been playing victim. Josh to me is just a fuckboy and I think he's trying to extend his 15 minutes. Like, why are you here? You have zero reason to be here. Just like Jackie was saying, they never really talked about emotions in the pods. We don't know that because we didn't see his pod interactions, but he just gives off fuckboy energy. Like, I don't even know why he was on this show. I don't think he wants to be married. He was also slurring his words by the end of the night, which was not a good look, on top of the fact that he was trying to make Marshall look bad for having feelings and crying. Men are allowed to cry, newsflash. It's 2023. We should really let go of the idea that men can't cry. At the end of the day, I feel like Josh just doesn't want to have to say that he lost. I don't even think he wants to marry Jackie. He just doesn't want to see Marshall, someone that he views as a punk and lame, when Jackie, which he sees as a prize, but not a prize in the sense that he wants to say that he won her or he has her, that's his girl. A prize in the sense that he just wants to say he won just to say he won. And I really don't hope he makes any more appearances in these next episodes because he can honestly kick rocks. I know they did put him in a preview. He's going to be talking to Jackie. I don't even know why I don't know why she's entertaining him, but she shouldn't be entertaining him. I'll say that. At this point, I'm really feeling like Marshall should say no at the altar. Of course, we have a few more episodes to see before they get to the altar, but Jackie's not ready for him, and he deserves someone who's ready for him, so that's how I feel about them. One note on Micha in regards to Kwame. They're absolutely playing with fire. I don't even think those two should even be talking. Clearly there's, unfinished business there, unresolved feelings. So they should just keep their distance. And the fact that it's so hard for them to do that lets me know that something's going to go wrong there. I'm expecting something to go wrong there. And we'll probably find out during the reunion. I would be very surprised if Micha, she might say yes to Paul, but I'd be very surprised if she doesn't think in the back of her head, well, what if I would have said Kwame? And Kwame, I don't think he's going to say yes to Chelsea. That's my thought. Kwame saying that Micha still has a special place in his heart, I feel like it's kind of tacky. So the next batch of episodes are out on April 7th. And those are going to include the weddings. I feel like we're going to get some no's this round. Like I've mentioned, I don't think everybody's going to be saying yes. Even last season, we got some surprise no's. So I think we're going to see some no's. Let me know in the comments what you think or who you think is going to say no. I think Kwame specifically is going to have a hard time with his mom not accepting things, and I think that's going to end up playing a big part in his decision. That's it for this video. I'll catch you here on Monday, April 10th to discuss the weddings, and then after that to discuss the reunion. See you later. Subscribe.